Good afternoon, everybody. Dear students, I am Pradeep Hirapure and going to deliver my lecture on the topic of microbial nutrition. As per your syllabus, this topic included in your fourth unit, and in this lecture, I would like to explain nutritional requirement of bacteria, as well as we're talking about the nutritional type of microorganism. It means the bacteria, how classify into the different types based on the nutritional requirement. So these 2 points I have to completed in this lecture. So we will start the first point, that is the nutritional requirement of bacteria. So dear students, you know very well, each and every living organism made up of the cellular structure, it required so many different types of chemical molecules for its proper growth, right? Because you know very well, each and every living cell grow and divide into the daughter cells, and this process known as a reproduction of that particular cell or organism. So when we talking about the bacteria, so the bacteria is a single cellular organism, and this bacteria again reproduce itself and produce the daughter cells. So for the reproduction purpose, for its proper growth, the bacteria or microorganisms also required so many different types of important and essential nutrients. And by utilizing such type of essential nutrients by the microorganism, they can grow and reproduce itself and produce the daughter cells. Okay, so in this lecture we will discuss first of all which type of nutritions actually required by the bacteria or microorganisms. So basically, dear students, we can categorize the nutrients into the different 4 types, okay, or 4 categories. First one is macronutrients, second one is micronutrients, then growth factors and environmental factors, means the temperature, pH, oxygen, etc. So the macronutrients means what? The organism required that nutrients in a large quantity for its proper growth. So such type of nutrients are known as a macronutrients. And the nutrients required by the organism for its proper growth, but it in a very low quantity, in a trace amount, that type of nutrient known as a micronutrients. And specifically the microorganism required some growth hormones or growth factors, and lastly the environmental factors, that is a abiotic factor. You know very well, the microorganism required the specific temperature for its proper growth. For example, when you want to grow the bacteria in a laboratory, at that time the bacteria we incubate at 37 degrees Celsius temperature. So at the 37 degrees Celsius temperature, your bacterial culture can grow, reproduce itself, right? For example, whenever you want to culture the fungi in a laboratory, so you should incubate that fungal culture at 28 degrees Celsius temperature. Likewise, the microorganism required the specific pH and oxygen. Some bacteria able to utilize oxygen for proper growth, and some bacteria can grow in the absence of oxygens also. So such type of nutrient requirement of bacteria we will discuss one by one in next slide. So before going to discuss about the various types of macronutrients and micronutrients, you know very well, the microorganism require about the 10 element in large quantity, and that's why this 10 element considered as a macronutrients, because they are used to construct the carbohydrate, lipid, protein and nucleic acid. You know very well these are the macromolecules. Whenever we consider any living cell, so inside the living cell there is a cytoplasm, and inside the cytoplasm there is a carbohydrate, then there is a protein, nucleic acid, right, and lipids. So these are the macromolecules, and these macromolecules completely involved in the various type of physiological process, in the various types of metabolic processes, right? And that's why for the synthesis of carbohydrate, lipid, protein and nucleic acid, that particular cell or that particular organism required the various types of nutrient, like a source of carbon, source of hydrogen, source of oxygen, source of phosphorus, right? So for the because these nutrients act as a building block for the synthesis of carbohydrate, lipid, protein and nucleic acid, and without the carbohydrate, lipid, protein and nucleic acid, no one living cell can grow and reproduce itself. So that's why bacteria also the living cell, and it required that bacteria want to synthesize the carbohydrate, lipid, protein and nucleic acid inside the cell cytoplasm, and for that purpose bacteria also required the particular specific nutrients, right? So we will see here which type of nutrients actually required by the bacteria. So dear students, what is actually the nutrients? Nutrients nothing but the substances in the environment used by organism for its catabolism and anabolism, right? Because in every living cell there is a two specific processes carried out continuously, and that process is nothing but the catabolism and anabolism, right? So catabolism nothing but the complex molecule break down and form a simpler molecule, and what is the anabolism? The simpler compounds combine together and form a bigger molecule. That process known as anabolism. So such type of catabolism and anabolism type of processes continuously carried out inside the living cell. And what is actually the macronutrients? So the macronutrients nothing but the larger quantity. Okay, so the bacteria required the nutrient in a large quantity. So which type of nutrients comes under the macronutrients? For example, the carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur and phosphorus. So these compounds required the microorganism in a very large quantity, because carbon, you know very well what is the function of carbon. Carbon present in every molecule, right? It may be the lipid, it may be the nucleic acid, it may be the carbohydrate, it may be the protein. Likewise, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur, phosphorus, these are the very important elements, and these elements take part in the synthesis of all macromolecules. Okay, and apart from this, some potassium, calcium, magnesium and iron, these elements act as a cation or a part of enzyme, that is a cofactors. Okay, so you know very well in the cytoplasm of bacteria or in any living organism there is some enzymes, and that enzyme act as a metalloenzymes, right? So what is actually the metalloenzymes? The enzymes is activated in presence of the metal ion, right? So such type of enzymes known as a metalloenzymes. So in presence of metal ions, that enzymes activate and catalyze the particular specific reactions, right? So for that purpose also we require the potassium, calcium, magnesium, iron, such type of element to activate the enzymes as well, and sometimes these element act as a cofactor for the enzymes. Okay, and this is about the macronutrients. Second class is the micronutrients, right? So microbes require very small amount of other mineral elements such as iron, copper, molybdenum, zinc. These are referred to as a trace element, and most are essential for the activity of certain enzymes, usually as a cofactor. Apart from this macronutrient and micronutrients, the bacterial cell again required some growth factors. So what are the growth factors? Amino acid, purine and pyrimidines and vitamins. These are act as a growth factor for the bacterial cell or microorganism. So what are the function of these growth factors? Amino acids are needed for the protein synthesis, purines and pyrimidines for the nucleic acid synthesis, and vitamins are small organic molecules that utilize to make up all or part of enzyme cofactors, and only very small amounts are required for the growth. Okay, so these are the growth factors required by the microorganism for its proper growth. Now dear students, why these bacteria or any living organism requires these macronutrients and micronutrients are growth factors? So you know very well, any living cell, whenever present in an environment, so that cells or organism want to synthesize some macromolecule inside the cytoplasm. Simultaneously, that cells actually synthesize energy also. So for the energy synthesis, for the carbohydrate, lipid, protein synthesis, there is the involvement of so many multi-steps reactions. Okay, and that multi-steps reactions require the different types of element. Okay, so for example, the bacterial cell required the source of energy. Okay, so mostly the bacteria utilize light as a source of energy, or some bacteria utilize the inorganic substances like sulfur, carbon monoxide or ammonia, or sometime organic matters also utilized by the bacteria as a source of energy like a sugar, protein, fat, etc. So without energy, life cannot be exist and quickly die or become inactive. So that's why for the synthesis of energy, the bacteria or organism required some elements. Okay, then the source of nitrogen, you know very well, the nitrogen is the most important element in terms of the living cell, because in the living cell so many compounds, macromolecules having nitrogens, right? So this may be the nitrogen gas, or it may be the ammonia or nitrate or nitrite or nitrogenous organic compounds. These compounds act as a source of nitrogen for the bacteria, and this nitrogen utilize are present in a protein as well as the nucleic acid. So for the synthesis of protein and nucleic acid, your bacteria required the source of nitrogen. Then there is again one more important element, that is a carbons. So a source of carbon required by the bacteria for its proper growth. This can be carbon dioxide, monoxide, methane, carbon monoxide or complex organic material act as a source of carbon. And you know very well that carbon also present everywhere, right? It may be the cell wall, it may be the plasma membrane, it may be the any types of macromolecule. All the components actually consist the carbon. Okay, then again your bacteria required the source of oxygen, because some bacteria required oxygen, and these bacteria consider as a aerobic bacteria. Okay, so aerobic bacteria only grow in presence of the oxygen, but some bacteria do not require oxygen, they can grow in the absence of oxygen, and such type of bacteria known as a anaerobic bacteria. Okay, so all the cells use oxygen in a bound form and many required gases, oxygen through the air, but oxygen is lethal to many microbes. Means those microbes able to grow in the absence of oxygens. So such type of bacteria known as anaerobic bacteria. So for the anaerobic bacteria, this oxygen may act as a lethal. Then a source of phosphorus, sulfur, magnesium, potassium and sodium. These elements also most important for the bacterial growth. A source of calcium. Most cells require calcium in significant quantities, but some seems to only need in trace amount. A source of water also required by the bacteria for its proper growth, because all life require liquid water in order to grow and reproduce, which is why the Mars and missions is so interested in the searching of water on Mars. Some resting stages of the cells like a bacterial spore can exist for long period without water, but they do not grow or metabolize in the absence of water. So you can understand what is the importance of water for microbial growth or bacterial growth. Dear students, again bacteria required the source of minerals like iron, zinc, cobalt, etc. They are called trace element and that are required by some enzymes to functions. Already I explained inside the bacterial cell some enzyme act as a metalloenzymes. For example, the DNA polymerase enzyme. So DNA polymerase enzymes is a metalloenzyme, means that DNA polymerase enzyme always activate and catalyze the replication reaction in presence of metal ion. Without metal ion, that DNA polymerase enzyme unable to activate and catalyze the reaction. So such type of enzymes present inside the bacterial cell, and for the activity of that enzyme the bacteria require the trace amount of metal ions. The sources of these various requirements define an organism. So a description of every organism should include this information, and many bacteria can synthesize every complex molecule they need from the basic minerals, but other said to be fastidious required performed organic molecules like vitamins, amino acids, nucleic acid and carbohydrate. Dear students, you can see here on the screen these are the major element and their sources and function in a bacterial cell. So you can see these are the elements and its a percentage in the bacterial cell, and what are the sources for the element, and these are the functions of the particular elements. So first of all, we are going to discuss about the importance of carbon. So carbon is a very essential element for the bacterial growth. Okay, and you can see here the 50% dry weight of the bacteria contain the carbon, and mostly the bacteria utilize the carbon from the organic compounds or CO2. And for what purpose the bacteria utilize the carbon? So the carbon act as a main constituent of cellular material and constituent of the cell material and cell water. Okay, cell water. Then not cell water, it's a mistake, that is cell wall actually. Then there is a second important element, that is oxygen, and its concentration is 20% of dry weight of the bacterial cell. And the oxygen is utilized from H2O, means from water or organic compound. Sometime bacteria utilize the oxygen from CO2 or directly from the oxygen O2. This oxygen also act as a electron acceptor in aerobic respiration. Okay. Then nitrogen's third important element, and it is 14% present in a bacterial cell, and the source of nitrogens are NH3, NO3 organic compounds and N2 gas, nitrogen gas. From this source of nitrogen utilized by the bacteria for the element nitrogen, and the nitrogen play an important role in the cell growth, because the nitrogen is a constituent of amino acid, nucleic acid, and coenzymes. And the fourth one is hydrogen. It is also very important, and it contains the 8% of dry weight, and the bacteria utilize hydrogen element from the water, organic compounds, or hydrogen gas. And hydrogens act as a main constituent of organic compounds and cell wall or cell water. Okay. Then there is a phosphorus element. This is also a very essential element, and it contains 3% in a bacterial dry weight. And inorganic the source of phosphorus nothing but the inorganic phosphate. And the phosphorus act as a constituent of nucleic acid, nucleotide, phospholipid, and teichoic acid or lipopolysaccharide, right? So you know very well when we study about the DNA structure, so there is a phosphodiester bond, right, in between the two nucleotides. So there is a phosphorus. So many different types of components or compounds actually synthesized in bacterial cells, they contain the phosphorus, and that's why the bacteria required phosphorus for its proper growth. Then sulfur again act as a most important element for the bacterial growth, and it contains the 1% in a dry weight. The sulfur oxide and H2S and organic sulfur compounds act as a source for sulfur, and sulfur act as a constituent of cysteine, methionine, glutathione, several coenzymes. So you know very well when we're talking about the vitamins, so inside in the vitamins, some vitamins required the sulfur, means some vitamins or some not vitamins, some amino acids actually contain the sulfur element, and such type of amino acids known as a sulfur containing amino acids. So for the synthesis of such type of amino acid inside the bacterial cell, that bacteria required the sulfur. Okay. Then there is a potassium. It's also again contained the 1% of dry weight of the bacterial cell, and the source of potassium nothing but the potassium salt. And potassium is a main cellular inorganic cation and cofactor for the certain enzymes. Magnesium is a very in a low quantity, and it contains 0.5% of the dry weight of bacteria, and source of this magnesium nothing but the itself it is magnesium. And the magnesium is required for the bacterial cell for inorganic cellular cation, and it acts as a cofactor for certain enzymes and reactions. Apart from this, calcium is also required by the bacteria in a very low quantity. It is 0.5% of dry weight of the bacteria, and it is required for inorganic cellular cation. It is also calcium also act as a inorganic cellular cation, cofactor for certain enzymes and component of endospore, right? And lastly there is a iron. Iron is also a very important element for the bacterial growth, and it is required in very low quantity. It is 0.2% of the dry weight of bacteria, and the iron act as a component of cytochromes and certain non-heme iron proteins and cofactors for some enzymes and reactions. So you know very well in a bacterial cell some compound is there like a hemoglobin, right? So so iron containing compound is there, so for the synthesis of iron containing compounds that bacteria required irons. So these are the very important and essential major elements required for the bacterial growth. So dear students, these are the biological molecules you can see here on the slide. By utilizing the major elements by the bacteria for the synthesis of protein, then nucleic acid, carbohydrates and lipids. So these are the macromolecules and very essential molecules present in every cell. So continuously cells synthesize these 4 different types of macromolecules. So you know very well the protein is made up of amino acids, okay, by the polypeptide chain, okay, and it contains 50% dry mass, okay. So nucleic acids again made up of the nucleotides, means more than one nucleotides attaches to each other and form a polynucleotide chain, and that polynucleotide chain nothing but the nucleic acid. It may be the RNA or it may be the DNA, and the nucleic acid content means 18% shares, okay. So the percentage nucleic acid percentage in a bacteria that is 18%. Likewise the carbohydrates also made up of the monosaccharide and polysaccharides, and in the bacterial cell the carbohydrate 15% carbohydrate with that of the dry mass of bacteria. And lipid also a important macromolecule synthesized in the bacterial cell through the fatty acid and glycerol, and the larger unit of this lipid is a triglycerides, and it contains the 10% of dry mass, okay. So dear students, whenever we're talking about the nutritional type of microorganisms, or we can say how these bacteria or microorganism classify into the different types or different categories on the basis of requirement of nutrients, okay. So some bacteria means various bacteria shows the various sources of energy, electron and carbon, and depending upon what type of source of energy, what type of source of electron and what type of source of carbon utilized by the bacteria, the specifically the microorganism or bacteria classify into the different classes. So you can see here these are the classification of bacteria based on the nutritional requirement, and these are the sources of energy, electron and carbon for the bacteria, and these are the examples of bacteria, okay. So you can see here the first class is a photoautotrophs, okay. Basically you know very well the living organism classify into the 2 categories, right, autotrophs and heterotrophs. Now you know very well autotrophs nothing but the organism able to synthesize its own food material. So such type of organism known as a autotrophs, okay. And what is heterotrophs? Heterotrophs nothing but the organism unable to synthesize its own food material, and that organism depends on other organic compound for its food material. Such type of organism known as a heterotrophs, okay. But you know very well autotrophs actually able to synthesize the glucose or carbohydrate, right? So that is a process, okay, chemical reactions. So in the synthesis of food material, that organism required the source of energy, required the source of electron, okay, and required the source of carbon dioxide or carbon source we can say, okay. So each and every organism which having ability to synthesize the carbohydrates or food material So that organisms required three factors. First one is the energy source, second one is the electron or hydrogen source, and third one is the carbon source. And depending upon the source of energy, source of hydrogen or electron or source of carbon, which type of source utilized by that particular autotrophic organisms, we can categorize such type of organisms based on which source actually utilized by that bacteria for electron, hydrogen, electron, and energy and carbon. Okay, so you can see here there is a 4 different categories: photoautotrophs, photoheterotrophs, chemoautotrophs, and chemoheterotrophs. So already I explained you what is autotrophs and heterotrophs. So basically living organism categorized into the two groups, autotrophs and heterotrophs. Autotrophs means the organisms able to synthesize its own food material. Heterotrophs means the organism depends on other organic compound for the food, means that organism unable to synthesize the food material. Now you can see the first class or first category, that is a photoautotrophs, right? So photoautotrophs means that word actually indicates photo nothing but the light, okay, and autotrophs nothing but the organism able to synthesize its own food material. So by utilizing the light as a source of energy for the synthesis of carbohydrates itself, and such type of organism consider as a photoautotrophs. Okay, so photoautotrophs source of energy क्या होता है उसका, लाइट, एंड द इलेक्ट्रॉन और हाइड्रोजन का जो सोर्स होगा वो है आपका इनऑर्गेनिक हाइड्रोजन और इनऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड्स, एंड द कार्बन सोर्स नथिंग बट द CO2. सो उस टाइप के ऑर्गेनिज्म को या बैक्टीरिया को अपन फोटोऑटोट्रॉप्स बोलते हैं. उसके एग्जाम्पल क्या है, algae, purple and green bacteria and cyanobacteria. So these are the some examples of photoautotrophs. Okay, now second class is a photoheterotrophs. So photoheterotrophs, again photo nothing but the light energy. Okay, so energy source क्या है, लाइट है, बट हेटेरोट्रॉप्स है ये दूसरे के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है, राइट. सो एनर्जी का सोर्स लाइट है और हाइड्रोजन और इलेक्ट्रॉन डोनर क्या है, इनऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड्स, और कार्बन सोर्स क्या है उसका, ऑर्गेनिक कार्बन सोर्स. यहाँ पे क्या है, CO2, यहाँ पे क्या है, कार्बन सोर्स. मीन्स ऑलरेडी जो कार्बन कंटेनिंग कंपाउंड्स है, ऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड्स है, दैट कंपाउंड्स एक्ट एज ए फूड मटेरियल फॉर सच टाइप ऑफ बैक्टीरिया. तो जो भी ये है फोटोहेटेरोट्रॉप्स हैं, ये फोटोहेटेरोट्रॉप्स को एनर्जी लाइट से मिलेगी, लेकिन कार्बन सोर्स क्या रहेगा, ऑर्गेनिक कार्बन सोर्स रहेगा. ये ऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड्स को, ऑर्गेनिक मटेरियल को यूटिलाइज करते हैं एज ए फूड मटेरियल. ओके, और एग्जांपल क्या है, पर्पल नॉन सल्फर बैक्टीरिया एंड ग्रीन सल्फर बैक्टीरिया. Then there is a third category, that is the chemoautotrophs. Okay, now here the photo replaced by the chemo. Okay, autotrophs nothing but again able to synthesize the food material. Now these bacteria able to synthesize the food material itself by utilizing the energy from chemical compounds. Okay, so here light energy utilized by the organism, but here the source of energy is chemical compound, and that's why this category known as a chemoautotroph. Means the organisms able to synthesize food material by utilizing the chemical energy. Okay, so you can see here the source of energy is a chemical energy, and the inorganic hydrogen or electron donor and CO2 act as a carbon source. Okay, so आप photoautotrophs and chemoautotrophs में क्या डिफरेंस है, बाकी सारा सेम है. सिर्फ यहाँ पे फोटो ऑटोट्रॉफ्स में लाइट एनर्जी का यूटिलाइजेशन होता है और यहाँ पे केमिकल एनर्जी का यूटिलाइजेशन होता है। फिर बाद में दूसरा और क्लास में, दैट इज अ फोर्थ क्लास, दैट इज अ कीमो हेटेरोट्रॉप्स। ओके, हियर आल्सो यूटिलाइज केमिकल एनर्जी and but these organism or bacteria unable to synthesize its own food material. Okay, and that's why that bacteria known as a heterotroph, and chemical energy utilize करता है, इसीलिए उसको chemoheterotrophs अपन बोलेंगे। okay, so यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं कि फंजा है, प्रोटोजोआ है, और मोस्ट ऑफ द बैक्टीरिया कम्स अंडर द chemoheterotrophs। okay, so these are the classification of bacteria or microorganism based on the nutritional requirement. You can see on the slide there is a two source of energy. One is a chemical compound act as a source of energy, and this one is the light light act as a source of energy. Okay, so the organism or bacteria directly trap the light energy from the sunlight and utilize that light energy for the synthesis of different compounds, and such type of organism known as a photoautotroph. And the other source of energy nothing but the chemical compounds. So how this chemical compound act as a source of energy? So these chemicals nothing but the complex molecule, very big molecules. Okay, and whenever this complex molecule break down, so the bonds actually break and that bond energy actually release in the environment. So that bond energy nothing but the chemical energy, and that chemical energy utilized by the organism, and the organism known as a chemotrophs. Okay, and that chemotrophs again classify into the two types. इनऑर्गेनिक केमिकल्स से सपोज वो ये होता है तो इनऑर्गेनिक केमिकल्स, और ये यहाँ पे ऑर्गेनिक केमिकल्स मीन ग्लूकोज, एसिटेट, इससे वो एनर्जी यूज कर सकते हैं। सो इसमें क्या है कि ऑर्गेनिक केमिकल्स से ये करता है तो कीमो ऑर्गेनोट्रॉप्स, एंड इनऑर्गेनिक केमिकल्स से एनर्जी यूटिलाइज करता है तो कीमोलिथोट्रॉप्स बोलते हैं उसको। यू कैन सी हियर ultimately the synthesis of ATP molecule. This one is the chemical energy. So chemical energy synthesized from by the utilization of organic compound, that is a glucose. Okay, so such type of reaction carried out in a chemoorganotroph. And here you can see the inorganic hydrogen utilized by the organism for the synthesis of ATP. Okay, so this one is comes under the chemolithotrophs. Okay, and this one is the directly light energy utilized for the synthesis of ATP. Okay, and that process known as a photosynthesis, right? So this is the category of microorganism based on the utilization of energy source. Apart from this, bacteria again classify into the different categories depending upon the utilization of abiotic factor, that is a temperature, or we can say the physical factor, that is the temperature, pH and osmotic pressure. Okay, so you know very well this temperature. On the basis of temperature we can classify the organisms into the different types. You can see here the extreme saprophytes. Extreme saprophytes only grow or required minimum -2 degrees Celsius temperature and maximum 10 degrees Celsius temperature. So the such type of bacteria known as a extreme saprophytes. Saprophytes bacteria, normal saprophytes bacteria required minimum 0 degrees Celsius temperature to 20 degrees Celsius temperature, and for example the Vibrio marineus. Then there is a mesophytes. Mesophytes means somewhat the temperature required in middle range. Okay, so suppose the bacteria require 10 to 15 degrees Celsius at least temperature, or maximum temperature 35 to 45. So if the bacteria able to grow in between the 10 to 45 degrees Celsius temperature, such type of microorganism known as a mesophiles. Okay, and for example the Escherichia coli. And there is a facultative thermophiles. Facultative thermophiles means what? Ki somewhat higher temperature is required. For example, a minimum temperature is 37, but that bacteria able to grow up to 70 degrees Celsius temperature. Okay, so such type of bacteria known as a facultative thermophiles. And for example the Bacillus stereothermophilus. Then there is a obligate thermophiles. Obligate thermophiles means the minimum temperature required 45 degrees Celsius temperature, and 85 to 90, this one is the maximum range. So if your organism able to grow within 45 to 90 degrees Celsius temperature, then that bacteria known as a obligate thermophiles, and for example Thermus aquaticus. Then extreme thermophiles required minimum 60 degrees Celsius temperature and maximum is 110 degrees Celsius temperature. For example Sulfobolus acidocadalis. Then there is a microorganism classified into the two types, that is on the basis of pH requirement. Okay, you know very well, whenever you prepare the nutrient medium for the bacterial growth, you have to maintain the pH concentration or pH for that particular nutrient medium, because your bacteria require the specific pH. So the depends upon the pH, the bacteria classify into the two types. Some bacteria consider as a acidophile, some bacteria consider as a basophile or alkaliophile. So acidophiles, nothing but the bacteria having ability to grow in the range of 0.8 to 5 pH. Okay, and such type of bacteria known as acidophiles. So below 5, if bacteria grow, so that bacteria known as a acidophiles. And for example Thiobacillus thiooxidans. And second class is alkaliphiles, or we can say the basophiles. So basophiles required minimum 7 pH, means neutral pH, and maximum 11.5. Okay, so that is a basic pH. So if the bacteria able to grow in a basic condition, that bacteria known as a alkalophiles or basophiles. And the bacteria, for example Bacillus alkalophiles. Okay, and depending upon osmotic pressure, again bacteria classify into the two categories, that is a halophiles and extreme halophiles. So you know very well, in a bacterial cell there is a 80% water, and that's why the bacteria required the specific osmotic pressure. Okay, so the halophiles required minimum 0.5 to 4.5 osmotic pressure, and for example Vibrio causticola. And if the higher concentration of salt is there in a nutrient medium, for example the seawater, there is a bacteria, that bacteria normally considered as a extreme halophiles, because there is a high concentration of salt, and the extreme halophiles required minimum at least 3 to 5.2 osmotic pressure. And for example the halobacteria halobium. So this is all about the bacterial classification based on the physical factor. Thank you.